The Middle East has a long tradition of science and astronomy. Just take a look at this 14th century astrolabe used by Islamic scholars to study the movement of the stars, and now in the collection here at the Observatory of Paris. This is a product of the so-called golden age of Islamic astronomy. But looking at the Middle East now, it appears that a new golden age may be on the horizon. The French were quick to embrace the opportunities of the Emirati space program. The country's space agency CNES was the first to sign a cooperation deal with the UAE and open an office in Abu Dhabi. Now French companies are helping build Emirati satellites. CNES President Jean-Yves Le Gall tells us more.
There's a real desire on the part of the Emiratis to develop a space policy. So it's a very complete program with telecommunication satellites, Earth observation satellites, strategic satellites, a Mars mission, the astronauts, and the Emiratis decided to make CNES a strategic partner.
What advantage does this kind of cooperation have for CNES?
CNES will celebrate its 60th birthday soon, while the Emirates are a lot more recent. But it's a win-win situation, because they've a very innovative approach, and on our side we can share our experience with them. So in a way, it's a snapshot of the modern world, where the new space actors and the more traditional players work together to develop space activities.
The UAE has deals with the other big space agencies too, with the Emirati astronaut candidates being trained and supported by NASA, ESA and Roscosmos. The Emirates has also invested in Virgin Galactic and may fly space tourists from the Middle East.
Fire!
Meanwhile, Mars is a big focus as the UAE builds a new research centre called Mars Science City and races to be the first Arab nation to send a spacecraft to the Red Planet in 2021. So there are a lot of projects underway at the same time. Is it too much? We went to Euroconsult for an expert opinion. Do you think that the UAE space program is actually on really solid foundations, that they're not trying to run before they can walk?
It's difficult to say. Their model is quite unusual in the sense that they are leapfrogging a lot of the traditional steps sort of an emerging space country would take. And we see the traditional model is very much an incremental, gradual buildup of capabilities. And so it's quite unusual to see a country that has a degree of expertise in space, but not a well-established reputation, to immediately propose extremely ambitious programs. The big gap is essentially what's going to be happening post-2021, because for the moment the country hasn't announced any subsequent steps following the immediate short-term programs they've announced.
Every golden age has a beginning. In 1667, the Observatory of Paris was founded with royal support and the goal to boost French maritime power. Today, the new UAE space sector is in its founding years, enjoying broad support from a government with deep pockets and grand plans.